Banshee here again to let you know what are my fairy stages and what we can find in them. So let's not waste too much time, let's get to the first one. Descent into Consciousness is such a fascinating stage. It's a stage with 3 levels to it, with each level being a layer into the subconsciousness of Jin Kazama. The first layer is like some sort of ghost gothic dimension with objects floating, skeletons possessed, and an ominous portal in the middle of it all. I believe that this level of the stage is like a much darker version of the Yakushima stage. Now Jin's history is that during the beginning in Tekken 3, when he was introduced, him and his mother lived peaceful lives in an environment like Yakushima, but the day overcame was when things became dark and horrifying for Jin's life. We go to the second level and we get things that remind you of Tekken 6, like the throne Jin used to sit on, and also an Easter egg of the Nancy robot, the big mech, that you encounter in the treasure battle or the scenario campaign of Tekken 6. The gargoyles perched around the throne room are a nice touch, and in the background you see a helicopter and a jet. The jet possibly being a reference to when Jin killed Miguel's sister, and also the many lives he has taken during his leadership of the Mishima Zaibatsu. There's even a Buddha statue as a reference to Tekken 4. The third level we are introduced to a desert-like environment with dead trees, some rocks, and a few statue monuments. But if you look over, we'll find Jin Kazama sitting down thinking over everything that has happened in his life. You'll even see June's shoes right next to him. And speaking of June, you will find a ghost memory of her on the opposite side going for a stroll. You could say she's enjoying nature. There are crows in the sky, a signature aesthetic of Jun Kazama. Also, if you haven't noticed by now, all of these stages have chains in them. You could think of this as not only a symbolism of the demonic slavery Jin has to endure, but also the burden on his mind. You also find a statue that pretty much shows us with the tattoo symbol on the left arm with chains wrapped around it. One can also think of these chains as like the neural synapses in Jin's mind, connecting memories. This stage is so freaking good, the stage how just makes the fights epic, and the deep lore design, and also the fact that you're basically playing 3 different stages packed into one, which is freaking god tier. This is easily one of the best stages, so let's get to the next one. Elegant Palace has a bunch of cool details and looks really clean. If we dive deeper, we can see that this seems to be Li Chaolon's mansion. You can tell with the magnificent painting and the excellent statue of him on the side. And when we go downstairs, we see some Iron Man type activity with combats, computers, and hologram screens. You even get to see where his suit is manufactured. All this stuff is very cool. Anyways, let's get to the next stage. Celebration on the Seine. This stage is the best boat stage currently, I feel like. Not only does it fit the character Victor, it also has a sick ass music soundtrack on top of it. It's set in Paris of a yacht that is possibly owned by Victor himself. The main fighting area deck has fish hanging out underneath the fighters. The crowd enjoying meals and watching the fight from the other ends of the yacht. But yeah, this stage is very good. Now onto the Ortiz farm. Ortiz farm has some interesting things going on. In the background, you of course have a farm next to what seems to be an ancient South American temple. When you are fighting, lambs and sheep seem to be hanging around you as if they want to get in on the action. Maybe even more than the people in the background. But if you pay attention to the sky near the mountains, you will catch a UFO picking up sheep. You might say that this is a reference to all the alien news surrounding South America and Central America. But if we go down to the last level area, we encounter an ancient temple with treasure everywhere. Now I would say that this area might actually be owned by the Ortiz family. Also, what's weird is that there's refined gold with actual numbers on it. So I think there might be a clue that all this could be owned by Azazina and their family line. Also, the Crystal Skull reminds me of the Indiana Jones Crystal Skull movie, and the Phantom Skulls are a nice touch to this area with the ancient gold architecture. This is the sickest part of this stage, but let's move on to Phoenix Gate. One of the coolest DLC stages so far. Also, I'm glad they didn't scam us with this stage like the last one. But unlike that one, we have some cool Final Fantasy elements that fits pretty well into the game. You got your fiery medieval architecture with mythical beings. It looks like fighting in the background, one being the Phoenix and the other seems to be a humanoid dragon giant. This castle area seems to be having a siege going on, and if we move to the second part of the stage, it looks like we are in the center of a volcano pit. with a mirror match going on in the background. Doesn't everybody love a mirror match? Also, this stage is a big boy, and I mean a big boy. And the cool stun effects in all parts of Phoenix Gate are quite a spectacle in general. And that, my friends, is why this is the last one in my favorite list of Tekken 8 Season 1 stages. Okay now guys, that'll be all. See ya next time. GG's.